I don't know what it is that like legitimately I kind of don't know what it is that Nintendo has in for Project M and Project Plus specifically, right?
For us, yeah.
If I had to take an educated guess,
Wonder how it's gonna. And she did good too.
Is
She
she
got us set
here?
off Aklo. Yeah, she's here.
Yeah.
Her and Rizal both. So like they're looking to both do well in Melee, and then on Sunday at Exodus as well
Right,
for
right.
Brawl. For Brawl.
Let's get it.
All right,
So yeah,
I'm
so
wondering how this is gonna play out because I feel like Ingen's been like he's had good
okay.
results. He's like been cusp
I
on
keep getting distracted by those little green
really
pop-ups on Twitch where it's like, oh, ads coming, ads playing, ads done. It's like, all right,
held back by like the
cool.
fact that he just can't come here often.
yeah.
You know.
No, I
Oh,
mean
Aklo's got one of those
I mean, we
gamer
live in Asia.
pillow things, the hand rest.
yeah, Asia and Oceania, man.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
I think because like even for Europeans, like obviously like jet lag's a huge thing. When I went over to Valhalla, shout outs to King Funk and everybody that helped get me out there. Uh, I had such bad jet lag, and I tried playing the game just friendlies. I didn't enter or
That
anything.
then them trying to
Just
hint
like
subtly hint at a P plus tournament?
Yeah,
Yes, it
we
was.
cooked for like a
Them trying to hint at Project Plus slash Project M
that you
slash
have 3 days of
the
like
mod that everybody
consistent
loves of
jet
Brawl that
lag
makes
and
it
have
more
to
like
like
Melee that Nintendo
right.
keeps
But
shutting
I
down.
also was one of the best
Uh,
players in the
uh,
world for such a long time.
that was that.
Getting off of that kind of jet lag,
Armada too.
Armada 2.
Armada.
I remember back in like
Yeah.
2014, 15 when Project M used to
For like
be
the whole
like
summer.
big,
You remember he would just pull up for
you
Because I
like
know?
mean,
three
it,
months.
it made sense because it's like
Yeah.
all those majors back to
Yeah.
back. It's like I might as well just stay here. So
Yeah.
he would just stay out here for
Back
like
when Mewtwo King would bust out the
just
Falcon.
chill.
Too bad they
I
can't
wonder
stream
if
it.
this is
Yeah, it is
if
too
it's a
bad.
bandage or if it's like a grip situation.
For what? Ingen?
For Ingen, yeah.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Because I've seen some players, they'll get like those little,
I
like
vibe more
injury
with Melee, but PM is
laces
really
wrapped
fun to
around your
watch.
finger
I
to make it
feel
less
kind of the
painful.
same way.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
And just like it's a one finger glove basically.
there's some things
I've seen
about
players
PM
that
that
have
lead
like
me to gravitate back towards
slide
Melee,
gloves
but
basically.
fundamentally I discovered Melee through PM.
Less finger on that, yeah.
We getting creative now.
Dude,
We went from
some
Like
people
talking
don't even
it's
about
have
really
gloves.
cool,
gloves.
Yeah, I had a buddy who he only plays with
you
gloves.
know.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah, he has
I
like
mean, that's probably the most sanitary way to play, honestly.
well, he had
Big
this
gloves.
like one pair of like felt gloves that he wore for like years. And I
I
remember
don't know what it is that like
the UNC
legitimately
tournament
I
that we
kind of
went to
don't know what it
where
is that
he
Nintendo
was
has
playing so
in
thin
for
and I was like,
Project
yeah,
M and Project
it's been
Plus
7 years. It's
specifically,
been 7 years of playing
right?
with those things.
I know that Nintendo has been very protective of their IPs,
All right, man.
uh,
So, Fox Marth.
you know,
We're in there.
but
Yeah,
they
I feel
actually
like we've been
they
going
don't
too.
go after fan games and ROM hacks with the
We had
consistency
no
that
Matt
they
Wizzy for
target
SP.
Project M
For
with
Incredible
Is this the
Gaming.
first
specifically.
Fox Marth set? Or is this the first Marth we've seen?
For us, yeah.
If I had to take an educated guess,
Wonder how it's gonna
I
shake
think
out.
that Nintendo is
Me
like
too.
being invested in real
Cool
production
though. I mean, it's been
as a
sick.
company, right?
Japanese
Like
publishing come out
they're
with all
what
the
supports their
Falcon
company
hacks
fundamentally is
around
not
here
like
as well.
leveraging debt and buying back their own
There's
stock. They don't
Infosec
do that, which is unusual for capitalism, but very in keeping with Japanese
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
capitalism,
like
like post 1980s
another way
crash.
to play it, but pretty local.
Nintendo's wealth is wrapped up in their very real production and distribution and sale of
I think
video
two
games,
main
right? Their
opinions on
IPs.
Asa for quite some time.
And I
They
think
got a
they
problem with
probably
him as
see
well.
Melee as kind of like a black sheep among their intellectual properties, among the games that they've produced, right?
Asa,
Nintendo was a lot more
Right.
proud
Right.
of Smash Bros. Brawl, Smash 4, and Smash
I
Ultimate
don't know.
than Melee.
I'm assuming
You
there's no
know,
way he's here.
it's possible
Yeah.
that they actually view Melee as bad product and are kind of vindictive
Yeah.
against
I don't think he has
any
any
sort of community presence that it has, right?
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
Because to
Not
them
this
it's like
year.
their brand image and the consistency with which they're able to market their video games is consistent or is contingent upon them being able to cultivate that image off of games that they have released in the past, and they want to. I think Nintendo wants to be able to more or less monopolize how they create that image with their intellectual properties.
White. Like I think if it was just like
And
white text or
Melee
something.
is
Yeah,
kind of like
happy about it. Real strong start to the season.
dissonant enough with
Yeah.
that,
So
but still
Ingen
very
also not
popular in a
experienced in
way
this
that
match
leads
because
to
like
them
Turtle
trying to crack down
Turtle
on it,
does
because they don't really view it as
yeah, I
spiritually
know.
He loves
Thank you.
theirs in a sense. Like they don't view it as a product that they
Right.
want
They got some
to be associated with their company. You know, a black sheep.
Oh, good tech. Alright, let's try and push it. Dash attack was loud, but turn winner.
That's my best guess.
I always feel
You
like
know,
Marths have gotten so good at like no
because
longer
even like Mario 64 ROM hacks and like Pokemon ROM hacks and stuff don't get as much heat. And I think that's because Nintendo's okay with like, they're still not really okay with them, but it's like more acceptable that these have a role in promoting games that Nintendo already views as central to its brand image. You know?
Okay. Yeah, just
And it's kind of crazy. Eamon I know he picked up the game during COVID, right?
Yeah.
So he's been playing for like 6 years now.
yeah, dude.
Crazy COVID.
Dude, all the Slippy kids are they're all
And like fundamentally, I actually think that if Nintendo were like an American or European game studio or game company, they actually wouldn't behave like this because companies in the West, well, I mean Japan being part of the West as well, global North and all that sort of stuff, but like companies in Europe and America being more invested into the speculative elements of the economy don't really give two shits about their brand image because the production and rendering of goods and services makes up so little of so like small of a part of their broader economic portfolio and wealth and like reserves of capital, whereas Nintendo is much more reliant on that,
hits just keep coming.
you know.
To where that was if there were a Melee Great Depression, that was it.
Like one of those companies in Europe or in America, if they had produced Melee, would probably be like, sure, fuck it, whatever. The games aren't actually the thing that make us money anyway. What makes us money is buying back our own stock, giving our like executive raises, and like
Didn't play back then. I was like, dude, when you go to
you know
Brawl
parachuting out with the
you're like,
golden
okay.
parachute when the next crash happens, and just moving on to the next company to cannibalize.
One setup and hoping some Brawl player jumps in.
This Martha's from Japan. The sick loves seeing new Smash players from regions that aren't North America. Yeah, it is really cool to see.
See,
Oh, is that grab? He's going for that
It seems like for how much like Japan is very much like a cultural staple and like cultural purveyor of competitive gaming, it seems like their scene isn't as represented in Melee,
ergonomic.
you know?
cover on it.
So it's good to see.
Dude, yeah, it is so fun.
Myself particularly, I actually really have a soft spot for the Central and South American scenes for these games.
The cover and the color
You
just,
know,
like, still
our
looks
cultural brothers in arms in the other Americas. Ult is huge there. I can imagine, yeah.
big for FT to see.
Yeah, I think I remember, like, to the extent that I'm familiar with the Ultimate scene, there are a lot of, like, Japanese top players.
Win,
Yeah.
you know. But like, this I don't know. Chain grabs are annoying. Aklo's good enough to where Aklo could just win this
Oh,
straight
yeah,
up. Yeah.
I think so. But I think at this point in the bracket, you just don't want that kind of stress.
Yeah.
If you can manage it, just don't do it.
One of the best links of all time, man.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I feel like he's been hesitant to pull it out at like high level lately.
Yeah, yeah. I think after playing Zane, it's like
Yeah.
feels like
Ooh.
it's not, you know.
Yeah. He had those two majors in like.
Why is he going Link? Is Aklo good? Like,
off the back of some link sets?
have I missed something about Aklo? Does he, like, go all Link sometimes now?
Yeah. I think so. I think he got one.
I think he did. I think he like reset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were all like, is it time?
If I had $1 for every time I saw a double power shield, I'd have $2, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
I know that
Uses Link. Oh, okay, so this is a
pushing the use of like
FD counter pick.
on the bomb,
Gotcha.
and you can like kind of like
I remember him doing that against Zane.
you can kind of like almost like wave dash on people.
I actually really like the idea to down air there when the invisible ceiling was active. I give Aklo the credit of knowing that was a thing, like knowing about that. It would have been nuts if he was able to like tech chase off of the downward knockback angle from a down air that's affected by the invisible ceiling.
Aklo is moving, bro.
It's got bomb in hand, so it's gonna be hard. Yep.
Dude, I'm shocked.
Dude, you can tether from so far as Link.
That was sick. That was really good.
I feel like Mark.
Ooh, no jump.
Deal with the offstage portion unless there's like a good lineup for a back air.
Right.
Because drop zone fair is kind of weird with
Thinking about 5:45. I'm gonna make myself some dinner. Nothing too fancy. Probably same as yesterday. Just like sandwiches with crackers and
Yeah, you can't bring your
fresh
friends
fruits and
around
veggies
because,
type
you
shit.
know, if anybody, K-Toy and Rap Monster does it too.
Or maybe
Rap
like if
Monster
there's a
falls
good
down too.
benchmark for when there's like
Yeah, it's
a
crazy.
set
Until he
that's
gets
just
to
finished
all the
up
way down
at about
there.
that time.
Dude, he threw bomb up, CC'd it, and then acted out of it.
Nuts.
Like most link mains are not thinking
Ooh.
of that. I feel like.
Right?
Tilt
A
up
lot of
air.
folks
Okay.
are getting better at working off bombs.
Lets
but
himself get
Nintendo,
hit by the bomb
they
for
actually
some
try
reason.
and
The world may
overcome
never know why.
and,
How many
force
licks does it
safety.
take to get to the
Shout
center of a
out
Tootsie
to
Pop?
here.
Top 10 questions the world will never fucking know the answer to. I've dragged out this bit for too long.
Highlights from Genesis.
Ooh, up there? No.
Up throw.
Got him, yep.
I think maybe forward air could have clipped there too.
Yeah, that
but-
too, yeah. Even air.
Oh, wow. Second hit a forward smash there. You know, as much as people might poo-poo this this game plan that Aklo has for not being the greatest from a spectator perspective, I do really like that he's using Link on FD because it's difficult for Marth to combo Link, and he's sort of going with, okay, I'm just going to kind of hit him over and over again, and I'm comfortable to just keep a % stock lead, even if it means I don't do anything especially flashy to kill him.
Who's that salaryman fellow that showed up?
Nintendo's also a really old company, so I wonder if that's a factor in them being more risk averse. 100% it is. I think Nintendo was founded in the late 1800s as a playing card company. In like 1870s, 1890s, something like that, having to do with the industrialization of Japan at the time. And they have experienced every major economic crash since that period in time. You know, and the 1980s crash being particularly relevant because that one was like, that one left a really big cultural imprint on Japan. It like that crash is actually the reason that most companies in Japan don't actually engage with speculative markets very much, except to maybe gauge their success. They don't really engage in like the stock buybacks type shit. So yeah, you know, their age definitely contributes to that, and doubly so when you consider that Nintendo has survived I think the market crash of the late 1890s and the market crash that like ensued just after World War I, and the Great Depression, and some of the micro crashes in the 50s, and the crash in the 80s, and 2008. You know?
The grab button ain't going nowhere, Egan. Relax. Oh, got him. Okay, there we go.
Whereas the lesson that like a lot of other companies took from that is like, we can just let the company die if we get our golden parachute and like are able to keep a sizable like exit option and like personal portfolio, and then just have another company waiting in the wing where we have social connections and can sort of liquidate it into a hostile takeover.
Does it make like the hitbox bigger or something?
The Z-drop recap?
Yeah.
I know it makes the like grab box bigger in case it bounces off shield, but like it also puts a little.
Yes, that is true. They also survived one of the most destructive conflicts in human history, being of one of like on the losing side. Like Japan got fucked economically as a result of World War II, and legitimately, I think like because of how that all of those economic crises and moments have affected Japan and what they've decided to do sort of in the face of the aftermath of those. You can actually use Japan as kind of an economic imprint of what does the world economy look like without the speculation, more or less, right? Like the Japanese GDP after the 1980s flatlined and never recovered. And that's actually, I think, having read a lot of the some of the economic data tables from Thomas Piketty and like how capital is distributed in the global north, particularly, and what income inequality looks like, what GDP looks like. Japan not rebounding is pretty representative of what the real economy experienced in basically every Western country. The entire economic bounce back after the 1980s, after the early 2000s and 2008, in Europe and America was basically entirely made up by speculation and the funneling of more wealth into the stock market and speculative economy, stock buybacks, that kind of thing. Because you can look at real wages and they are stagnant over time. You can look at like economic metrics that would pertain to real exchange and activity, and those have been stagnant for a long time. And that much better actually matches the sort of GDP graph that Japan has than the GDP graph that America has. Because so much of that is being driven by fake, like the fake economy. It's a really interesting economic case study that you can use to, I don't know, at least get a decently informed vibe of what kind of position an economy is really in, as opposed to what the stock market would have you think. And, you know, shout outs to Aklo for being the biggest homie, playing this very patient, kind of slow rolling Link style. Because, you know, him, you know, them going back and forth, you know, slow, neutral, motivated exchanges has really enabled me to sort of explain my thoughts on the issue and wrap up at a perfectly convenient time. Thank you, Aklo. Very cool.
You could see the ideas starting to gel, to all come together.
Yeah, you could tell he started to form a plan.
Anyways, leftist meme, that more or less is and or plays into my hypothesis, my like educated guess as to why Japan, or not Japan, Nintendo hates Melee so much, and like fan activity related to Super Smash Bros. Melee. Cut it there, future me. I might actually make that a segment. That'd be cool. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, even donate to support the channel. It would really mean a lot to me.